to recap, the islanders had the tavern when a local bard was going to perform that night, and only to have his stories effectively murdered, and the party had come to learn that a mysterious being had or is killing stories. And from a band of adventurers who had encountered this entity known as the Dreamer previously, further explains just how dangerous this entity is and why it needs to be stopped. Really, it's because by effectively killing stories, it erases history. And I'm brain scrambled, sorry. But yeah, it effectively erases history. Really puts a real existential twist on things. So the party then learns of a cabin on the outskirts of town that could potentially be a lead, but before they can head out, the tavern keep flags the party down and informs them that when he was trying to collect the night's fee for the room from the bard, Varici is his name, he didn't answer the door, and he's really annoyed more than enraged at this because this has apparently happened before, but he passively says, says that he'd be quite grateful if you went and checked on him sometime later, but also emphasizes that there's absolutely no pressure to do so, which is where we left off previously. So we have investigating Varici's room or heading out to this mysterious house situation on the outskirts of town. Oh, and before we move forward, I just want to also but just mention to not read too much into Idrynne's actions as it pertains to the story. Yeah, I'm trying to have her interactions be as organic within the story as possible and not steer you guys towards any particular outcome that I necessarily want for the story. So, I'll interact, but don't read too much into what she's doing or saying any more than you normally would.
And just for the sake of the recap, did Emmeline pretty much tell the rest of us everything that Varici told her?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So, where's the location? Just, remind me geographically what's going on.
We're at Smuggler's Cove.
Hey, do we have the map? Is it the map Ned did, or is this a new place entirely?
It's the map Ned did.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm just borrowing just NPC buildings or in and around Smuggler's Cove.
All I remember was Dead Man's River or something now.
That was in Port Weddard, where I can't pronounce.
Right, no, I got it. Okay, good.
Yeah. What do y'all want to do? Nice.
So we pretty much went down to the tavern for breakfast, and then the owner was pretty much, hey, can you go check up on the asshole? He hasn't paid his rent yet.
Pretty much. But he's also like, but don't be too harsh about it, because this has happened before, and if anything, I'll come back later, and he'll probably have the money then. But if you happen to find the time, then, no pressure, but I'd really appreciate it.
Before we do our errands, says Emmeline, as she looks at everyone with wide eyes, she says, how about a drink? Even though it's 10 a.m.
Make that 3.
I could go for a morning beer.
Wanders over to the barkeeper. Pardon me, sir. 3 beers.
Coming right up. That'll be, let's say 15 copper total.
No problem. She slaps it down.
Gathers up the change, wipes down the counter for seemingly no reason whatsoever, reaches below the counter and produces 3 tankards, and turns around, fills them up from the barrel behind him, and he hands it to the party.
Wait, I'm sorry, you said 15 copper, correct?
Yes.
Nice.
That was my response of drinking.
Yeah, I bring it back over, put the beers down in front of everyone, and hey, look what I have. Emmeline cheers. Cheers, friends.
So
Cheers.
The only thing that I think is, do we actually believe his ghost story? Because that seemed like the only story he told last night that didn't have some sort of abrupt ending. Also, is my Lucius voice coming through this mic okay? Because I bought a whole new headset just for this.
That's dedication. It sounds good.
No, it sounds horrible. I can't hear you at all.
Thanks,
I'm kidding. I'm only
I
kidding.
appreciate you.
She's over here putting you on mute.
All the way down.
Yeah. I just thought that story seemed different. It seemed more emotional to him. Does that mean I think it's real? It made him upset, Can you kill a story? Like, are we gonna have a philosophical discussion? Yeah, I guess we are.
I'm just going with the flow, man. I'm following whatever y'all are doing.
Idrynne just
Lucius. I forgot I
goes-
was there. You're
I
not
have a
just
hard
DMing.
time believing ghost stories.
I love me a ghost story. I ain't afraid of no ghost.
Emmeline kind of like whips her guitar around a little bit, strums a couple of chords. Regardless of if the story's true or not, it's a wonderful adventure.
For the lyrics.
Oh, the lyrics.
for the lyrics.
Oh, the lyrics.
Certainly does.
She finishes her morning, puts it on the table. Oh, the lyrics.
Lucius just kind of growls and then finishes off the ale.
That's the spirit.
So which one of us is gonna, draw the proverbial short straw and go wake up the drunk asshole upstairs?
I'll do it. I don't need a straws for that.
Lucius immediately looks down at Scumbria. You are the short straw.
Let's not bring my height into this. So, Scum fucking takes a swig, last swig, of ale. She's ready to go wake this guy up, all right? Can I get a beer? Can I bring him a beer?
So cute. Emmeline is
All
saying
right.
that too. That is so cute.
I'm going to buy him a beer. Everybody likes a beer when they wake up, right? Okay. I need 1 ale.
All right, that's another 5 copper.
Scum slams it down. She grabs the ale. She goes upstairs to wake this guy up. So he's in a bedroom, right?
You go upstairs to.
Give me a second. I need to find my morality die.
Tiny dice for this.
I came ready.
Okay, I just fucking lost it. God damn it.
Why did you do that?
Because I just dropped it.
Plastic platter.
Maybe you
I
should've-
just fucking.
Alright, before Scumbria, completely takes off upstairs, Lucius is gonna go ahead and roll morality. Okay. Lucius is gonna shadow Scumbria, just in case things get weird.
Oh, Emmeline is behind you, but not with a weapon, just to write down lyrics. I'm with you.
Word, this is going to be a party
All
event.
right.
Did
Not
you just
cool.
rhyme fashion with mansion?
Oh my
So-
god, let's get this.
The bartender, seeing the party head upstairs and recognizing Emmeline as at least someone who at least knows him by acquaintance, just casually calls over his shoulder, "Door 3."
Oh yeah, directions.
As-
That would help. We were just about to knock on every random door.
Knock? I was just going to barge in, but okay.
You just barge in and it's like the scene from the fucking Shining. It's like, oh, wrong
Right.
door.
So the party approaches the door. There is an iron 3 nailed into the middle. It's otherwise mundane. Yeah. What do y'all do?
I barge right in.
All right. So you attempt to kick the door down.
Fuck yeah.
What's your?
Wait, you're kicking the door down? I thought you were just gonna try the handle like a normal person.
Why would I do that? I don't like doors. I use windows for a reason.
Emmeline raises her hand and says, I can attest she does not like.
Wait,
Okay,
is
hold on.
Scumbria the one that you told me about this? She climbed in through the window?
Oh, she's what started my cartwheels.
That was me. I like to drink and climb through windows.
And poke me with a stick.
You're just lucky it wasn't on fire.
All right.
Am I though?
Emmeline's not saying anything. She's just writing all this down.
Scum, give me a strength check.
Oh shit, fuck me, okay.
I believe the term you're looking for is... Hold on, I need to pull up Lucius's character sheet.
Is it vigor?
No, skirmish. Vigor is
Skirmish.
constitution, I think we established.
Okay.
Okay, so
Gotcha.
I have a plus on that. Woo!
Nice.
18.
Cool. All right. So you break the door down. It blasts in on its hinges, and the room
It wasn't
is
even
deserted.
locked.
The room, however, is deserted. There is, however, a couple of things on the workbench.
Ooh, frisky.
All right.
Please tell me it's a wand.
There is no one. Okay. There's an open book that you guys can see and can see print on the page, but you can't for the life of you understand what you're looking at. That's the nature of this book. There's also what looks like torn pages from a journal.
You mentioned when you attempt to read the book, you can't make sense of it. Lucius has a history with a lot of esoteric stuff. Can I attempt a savvy check?
Mhm.
Which
Ooh,
should be
19.
a 5. Oh, look
What
at
is
you
it?
go.
What was it?
19.
Nice. Okay, so both you and Idrynne will be able to read it. We'll get to that in a second. Everyone in the party can look at these pages, which I'm about to post a link to.
Which I'm only going to post to Brood.
So you see these pages as well as...
I'm not going to read the document just yet until my character actually gets it.
So the door is busted in on its hinges, and from your places outside, you can tell that there's a book and some scattered sheets of paper on the workbench, but if there was anyone there, you don't see them or hear them.
I just did a roll, so I'm going to let other people actually get to play before I say what I want Lucius to do.
Hey, I broke the door down. I did my job.
I mean, can I do a perception check specifically for interesting items or interesting things that I might be able to put in a bard song later?
Roll for inspiration.
I'm just looking around. I'm like, maybe there's a cool
Yeah.
thing on the wall.
That would be a savvy check, right?
That's what we've been using for perception, I believe.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
18. Wait.
Lovely.
Wow.
The fact that we're
These
all
rolls.
rolling so good this early terrifies me. This means that when things actually get serious, we're going to have shit rolls.
Hold on. Savvy is intelligence?
Don't jinx us, motherfucker.
We kind
I
of use it as like
believe-
combined wisdom intelligence because there's
have
the
a
mystic
minus-
stat.
I have a minus in wisdom, but not in intel. I don't know. I'm going to roll with this. No, I'm a bard. I should have good perception. I don't know. I'm going to leave it at 0. I got an 18. I'm going to leave it alone.
Okay, cool. So you're the first of the party to notice the rather messy nature of the workbench. And you, as a bard, immediately assume that this is where he works, for lack of a better phrase. He's also presumably a bard, so this is probably where he sits and brainstorms, writes things down. You're naturally drawn to that, but you also feel an odd hum in the air, as if something magical is emanating from that table.
I was just going to make a joke that like Emmeline sees all of his bard stuff and then like steals it for inspiration for herself.
Not beneath her. I feel, does this table seem strange to you? And she points at it. Magic isn't really her deal, and she's a little embarrassed to admit that she feels magic auras coming from it. Not something she wants.
I mean, the fact that he's not here, but he left fucking pages of his journal seems kind of weird.
That reminds me. I'm going to drink this ale. Gum drinks the ale. One chug.
For some reason, in Theater of the Mind, I imagine you had your ale from earlier when we all got a drink, and then you're holding his, so you're just double fisting.
Double fisting.
Nice.
And just kick the door down.
I was trying to be nice.
You are nice, Scumbria.
Very.
Is there
So,
anything in particular outside of the strange book that seems kind of out of place, or is it just kind of like a random menagerie of papers and like notes and stuff?
it's really just a random menagerie of papers, save for the magic book.
I noticed the strawling, so that's unappealing. Reminds me of like a scene in a horror movie. Are we going to die? Scum just looks at it, both of them, and
Lucius
just
slowly turns towards Scumbria. No one ever dies in these adventures.
Emmeline lovingly puts her hand on Scum's shoulder and like actually goes to comfort Scum, specifically not Lucius. And she's like, Scum, don't worry, everyone's time is gonna come. Like what we need to do is focus on living now in the moment. Do you hear me? She's like really getting inspirational about it too.
I'm feeling
She's surrounded
hyped
by
for some
people
reason. I'm feeling hyped for some reason. I don't know if it's the ale or if it's your words, but I think it's both.
Idrynne, you're the mage user here. Does this magic table mean anything to you?
Why do you think the table's magic?
I got a feeling.
Let's
yes,
see.
let's follow your feelings.
Wow, at 20. Idrynne looks into the room from her place in the hallway and goes, she smiles, just really small smile, and goes, there is indeed some magical presence inside, but it's certainly not malicious. In fact, and she trails off and goes ahead and walks into the room and picks up the book, and she smiles, and she just says, it's just a textbook, which is why it's magical in the first place. It's literally a magical textbook.
Lucius
So,
is going to be
like, if-
indignant, and he's going to say, all books have text in them.
Emmeline is still comforting Scumbria about death.
Thank you.
Love and support. Love and support.
Love and support, man. I love
Listen,
you.
Scumbria, I had this goldfish one time.
We don't talk about that.
So, is there any value to this magical textbook?
Can we write somebody
let's
we
see.
dislike in it and they die?
Idrynne laughs and shakes her head. It's not that kind of textbook, but it's open to a rather interesting chapter. She scans the page briefly and says something about a place called the Domain of Dreams. And she looks down at the workbench and sees the scattered menagerie of papers, and she says, "You guys might want to take a look at this."
Emmeline comes over, is over her shoulder. What the heck? Perception? Can I roll for that?
You guys, she actually directs your attention to the workbench.
The one that we can read, right?
Yes. So the two things that you guys can look at / read are in VC text.
Okay, so since it's being pointed out, I'm going to go ahead and read those now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Hey, maybe you should read those.
After skimming the pages, Lucius kind of takes a step back and he's like, this seems like Arcana. That makes me very uncomfortable.
Emmeline is eating up these pages with her eyes. Like, if you skimmed it, she's like in it. This is fascinating to the bard.
Well,
She looks
one
up
thing
at
that I love
Lucius.
about role-playing is that Ned is an idiot, but Lucius is supposedly like super smart, so...
You guys can also
Lucius?
see the tick diagram if you haven't looked at that yet.
Yeah.
Emily's just like, magic or not, I want to follow this. Just, it's just that bard curiosity. Like there's a story here.
Emmeline, do you remember what happened last time your bard curiosity got the better of you?
Uh-oh.
Nervously taps her fingers against her leg. A big ol' sigh. Orange, just going, I only see the words necromancy on these pages. I don't see the words like me. Shrugs, like saying maybe she's okay with this one.
So
Well-
we're bringing more people back from the dead. I'm on this, man.
We can look into these pages as much as we want, but in my opinion, I don't think the tavern keeper is going to be getting his rent. Lucius he spins on his heel and walks out of the bedroom.
This
All right.
guy.
Emmeline, like, real quick goes to his cup and looks to see if it's full or empty.
Whose cup?
Lucius said,
Oh.
did you leave the cup in the room, Lucius?
Probably. I probably
Weird.
placed it down on the table and just walked away.
He looks to see if his beer is finished or not.
Oh, Lucius didn't touch it.
Thanks, Ed.
Of course you do.
Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Starting early.
Oh, is this tome? She looks at the magic book. Magic, what do we call it? Magic textbook.
Mhm.
Is that the one in the entry under day 2132? She holds up a finger. Wait a minute. Did this person live to be 2,132 years old?
Years? No. She looks at the notebook. Idrynne leans over her shoulder to look at the pages. Says, they could be on the older side, along the lines of my age, possibly older, but...
How old did Verici look to us? Like, were they kind of like young adult, middle-aged?
I'd think like Verici is like a young Harrison Ford.
Indiana Jones Harrison Ford or Star Wars Harrison Ford? How young are we
Indiana
talking?
Indiana Jones face, but with Han Solo's wardrobe. So he wears like the white shirt and the vest, and he has like a satchel with a bunch of like parchment and some spare strings, and he wears his lute on his shoulder. So he's like a young Harrison Ford with like
Okay.
like a fantasy twist on Han Solo. This is how my brain works.
Emmeline shrugs her shoulders. Well, sometimes dwarves and gnomes can look 200 years old. Or sorry, they can look 80 years old, but they're 300 years old. Sometimes we may not be dealing with a human. We are dealing with a human.
Oh, definitely not.
Not? She shrugs her shoulders. She don't know about that magic.
Idrynne looks
I'm a
at
young
the
elf.
textbook in her hands and the notebook pages, for a second and goes, She looks at the notebook pages and goes, these are from a different book. And she looks around, but the room seems to be deserted. But she hands the notebook pages to Emmeline and tucks the textbook under her arm. But she hands the notebook pages to Emmeline and says, we might have a use for these yet.
She holds them up, tucks them away. Definitely going to lift some of this for lyrics, but also big realization that we might need to protect these. We have to do next. There is a sentence in here, Fred. I guess just Lucius is out of here. I've taken back residency in the School of Illusion. Shall we illusion ourselves to school?
Idrynne reads over the passage, and she raises an eyebrow and goes, oh, the School of Illusion. There's a school she trails off for a moment. I don't remember, but much like Winterhold, where I was practically raised, there's a magic school that specializes in illusion. Interesting that this would be in Vorici's possession. Honestly, I don't know what to make of it.
While the girls are upstairs, still pretty much investigating all the notebooks and the textbook and all that, Lucius goes downstairs and very bluntly just kind of walks right up to the tavern keeper and goes, hey, apparently he decided to do an Irish goodbye, so you don't look forward to that rent payment.
The barkeep looks up to the ceiling and sighs and goes, oh, he's probably off. He likes to take these walks. He's probably going to come back later this evening or tomorrow morning.
Oh, he
shrugs.
Back. 1 second. Lucius leans in the direction towards the stairwell. Hey, girls, don't steal anything. Whether or not they can hear him is completely up to you.
Can I roll for a listen check? Can I roll for a savvy to see if I heard that or not?
Can I roll for a listen check too?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. 10.
16.
Okay. Scumbria hears enough of what Lucius says to understand what he means. Emmeline just hears Lucius's.
So, guys, I don't think it's a bright idea stealing someone's book if somebody's coming back. Or, I mean, we could say fuck it and just take it. I say fuck it, let's just take it and bounce. While we still have time. We better go before he shows up.
Chaotic neutral be like.
I am chaotic neutral. It's even on my sheet.
I know. That's why I said that.
But we should think fast.
Idrynne looks at the textbook. Go for it. Oh, yes, he looks at the textbook.
Leave a note and tell him we're looking for him and give him a calling card so he can find us?
No, that seems like too much trouble. Let's just bounce.
Idrynne looks at the textbook and looks back at the workbench and goes, this is a textbook, which means he's borrowed it. So we're borrowing it, which means we can come back. We'll come back. And she turns on her heel and walks swiftly out the door.
I like to think that Lucius is standing by the staircase like an angry parent just waiting for you guys to show back up.
Emmeline thinks about cartwheeling out of the room, but doesn't want to draw attention and walks out like a normal.
I skid down the staircase on my stomach, and I completely failed because I didn't have anything solid. So I skid some of my stomach and stopped halfway.
Emmeline doesn't help you.
I'll just roll down the stairs. Fuck it.
Ned, where is Lucius in relation to just the tavern in general?
Well, he walked up to the tavern keeper, who I assume was behind the bar, pretty much told him, you ain't getting your money, and then he walked back and just kind of did the cowboy lean up against the wall, at the staircase.
So he's still at the bar?
Yes.
Gotcha. All right, so as the girls not slowly, but they make their way down in their increasingly dramatic fashions of coming down the stairs, last of which being Scumbria. The ruckus she causes specifically from behind Lucius, a familiar voice pipes up from behind them and says, adventurers, good to see you this morning. Come to find, lo and behold, it's Vorici himself enjoying himself a drink. I was just here paying the good barkeep my night's rent for the previous night.
Lucius is going to go up and he hates physical contact, so like he goes as if to pat someone on the shoulder, but stops halfway and goes, "Oh, you might need to pay him more for a security deposit. Your door's busted," and then walks away.
I skip out the door. I leave the tavern. Like I skipped all the way towards that door, man. Struggled with opening the doorknob because I don't like doors. I finally get that bitch open. I fucking dart halfway, bro, and I just sit there and I fucking wait for everybody to come out. I'm not nope.
Emily's got the book in her jacket and she's just walking, but on her way out she kind of like glances to someone's beer and notices it's full and they're like turned away having another conversation, so she goes to like pluck it. Can I even do a dex roll for this? She wants to drink someone's beer on.
As Emmeline is making her way to what she perceives as a safe area, do you remember if you gave your name when you met last session?
Emmeline did.
Okay. Her last name or just your first name? Just first name. Okay. So as she's walking past towards what she perceives or towards this drink, Varici pipes up and goes, "Ah, Miss Emmeline, I'm glad I ran into you." And he reaches into his and pulls out a leather-bound book and hands it to you and says, "This is everything I have on the Dreamer. I thought it'd be useful on your endeavors. I meant to give it to you last night, but I was too upset. Forgive me for not giving this to you sooner," and hands it to you.
She takes it and real respectfully, and looks him in the eye and like, "No, I know your performance seemed to make you very upset, so I understand completely." Takes the book, tempted to leaf through it. She's like looking down at it, really curious, but she doesn't. I'll say like, "What?" Yes, what should I expect to find in here?
He looks at the book for a good long while and looks back up at Emmeline, takes a deep breath, and has a very sincere look in his eyes. And he just says, "The truth."
Nods. Glances at the person's beer next to her, but the person has like finished their conversation. Well, I'm DMing now, and then I'm gonna leave it alone. Sorry, I'm gonna leave it alone. Okay, she goes to walk out the tavern.
I want to say during that entire encounter, Lucius believes that Varici is some sort of spellcaster of some kind, so he's naturally distrustful of him. So as soon as Varici stopped Emmeline to have their little talk, Lucius was watching the entire time. And
Suspect vinaigrette.
Varici's just the bard. Varici's not the mage we're looking for, or not the necromancer we're looking for. These are two different people, right? Okay.
Varici's the one whose notes and everything we just read.
Oh, we read Varici's notes.
Yes, or they were in his bedroom.
Oh, you read a notebook in his bedroom.
Right. Whether it's actually his notes or not is a different story.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
Can I do an insight or a sense motive check? Because like while that entire encounter was going on, Lucius was just scrutinizing the bard, like very distrustful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go for it.
All right. Would that be a savvy or mystic? Depending on how you want to take that.
You can do a savvy.
Okay, a savvy, I have advantage.
Let's do a savvy.
Nat 20.
Nice. Damn, these rolls. So you sense something is off, not necessarily malicious, just different about Varici himself.
Especially because last night he was like utterly distraught, and then he seems like chipper and happy right now. So that's automatically a thing clicking in Lucius's head.
Mm-hmm. So something is off about him. You're not necessarily sure if it's necessarily a good or a bad thing, but you also sense that the notebook, as beaten and weathered as it may look, is mundane.
Okay, so I don't believe that he just handed Emmeline like a cursed artifact or anything of that sort.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Lucius is just going to keep that to himself, and he's pretty much like waiting at the door, like kind of like doing the whole like, "Hey, we're leaving" gesture to Emmeline.
Scum pulls out her wooden pipe at this point and is just puffing on it while waiting for the others.
She comes out with her.
All right. Idrynne notices Emmeline's last to come out and says, "Did he give you something? Or what did he want, rather?"
This book. Pulls the book out to everyone.
Interesting.
Call me bigoted, but I still don't trust him.
He just straight up ignores that and opens to the first page.
The first page of Varici's notes?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to send it to VC Text, but only Emmeline can look at it unless he chooses to show it to the rest of... All right. You take a look at Varici's notebook, a true good look for it for the first time, and notice on the cover it says 101 places to visit.
Nice. Fellow bard, though, she you know, maybe there's a good travel vlogger hanging around. Maybe there's like the TikToks she can learn from. So this is just fine. She opens A1. Nice. She's gonna read it. Me, Lindy, I'm gonna read it. So Celine kind of like nods her head as she's reading. The day 1 entry isn't too impressive. Let's keep going. I mean, she's gonna read day 2. Let's do this thing.
How far do you want us to read?
Technically only Emily. Well, do you want to show it to Scum? Yeah.
Not yet. She's just kind of skimming, looking for either right now lyrics or like maybe a direction to go. She's just kind of like
Okay.
reading, and if she sees information, she'll share it verbally.
Okay, I didn't know if my character knew that or not. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, you're good.
It's okay. So, okay, at this point, she looks up at everybody else and goes, looks like the tavern keeper is a cleric and can heal? Cool.
DM side note, is not the tavern keeper. It's not the tavern keeper. There's the cleric is a separate person. The cleric in the context to the journal is a patron or a regular of that tavern. So the barkeep knows her. Yeah, it'll make more sense as you
Where
keep reading.
cleric's at. Sorry, no, I merged 2 cents. Got it.
Mhm.
Okay. Restate that. So she looks up at the crew and she's like, I'm to say crew because we're. She looks up at the crew and goes, there's a cleric in this town who adventurers seem drawn to her. According to these notes, she's like holding out the book. Kind of shrugs at that. Like so far, nothing's been that great. She's just gonna read one more entry. I'm on day 3 right now. Hold on.
Lucius finishes disassociating for a moment, and he says, "Wait, what about a cleric?"
Just kind of like.
Dear
skimming.
God, you're horrible. Scum slaps him upside the head.
Fucking rude.
You
How
deserve
did you
to
even
be
reach
fucking
my
know it.
head? You're way too short.
The possibilities.
What, can a fucking zombie zone out every now and again? You gotta be rude like that.
Just making sure you're still alive.
I mean, technically I'm not, but thanks.
No
Ooh.
problemo.
Emmeline looks up at you guys. She goes, "It's starting to get good." As a bard, she's on day 9. She's liking where this is going. So, here's what's happened so far. She's talking to you as if this is like a soap opera TV episode that you guys missed. Wait, what's his name? Hold on. I gotta get his name. Verici. So Verici walks into the tavern, sees a cleric. Cleric heals some travelers. He's sitting with her. He loves her smile. She's so cute. Tries to get her to come on adventures. She won't go. Scared of monsters. Fine. Then, where's the Kikimori? Wait. Yeah. Then Verici fights a Kikimori, comes back, tells the cleric about the Kikimori. Cleric doesn't seem frazzled. Like that's one monster she's not afraid of. Ooh. So Emmeline's like getting you guys hyped up. Then
Quick interruption. As Emmeline is detailing this story, because Lucius used to be a monster hunter, do I have any knowledge of a Kikimori, or is that alien to me?
You can.
Okay.
/ do. Yeah.
So as soon as you mention the Kikimori, that's when Lucius's attention actually, like, the beak turns towards you.
cool. So no, you catch the part. The cleric is unafraid of Kikimoris, which catches Virachi by surprise because she seems to be scared of adventuring. So Virachi, who has illusion magic, decides to surprise the cleric with something. Virachi wants to cast illusion and put the cleric in one of his adventures using his illusion powers. Emmeline is like into this story. This is cool.
Idrynne holds a hand up and goes, "Hold on. Verici has illusion magic? That Verici?" She points back into the tavern, that general direction.
Wait,
that
this is not his
Verici.
journal? Wait, it is. Emmeline's going with it. She thinks it's his journal. I already forgot what Verici said when he gave her the journal. He just said the truth is in here. That's what he said.
Yes.
That's all he said. Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow, Emmeline has assumed this is his journal, so she nods because she thinks, yeah, he's got illusion magic.
Lucius, of course, is just kind of like nodding his head no. He's very distrustful of Verici, especially because I guess this confirms, like, quotation marks, confirms Verici as a spellcaster, which, of course, Lucius hates spellcasters.
Scum just
Idrynne
like
raises an
stands between
eyebrow.
the two.
Idrynne raises an eyebrow and goes, "I don't think so. I know mages. That's no mage. He's no human, but that's no mage."
Emmeline kind of flips back to the cover again, like isn't very journal. She's like looking for who wrote it, or she's looking for like a publication date, because those existed.
Check the inside cover. Who last rented this from the library?
I'm like looking for the bio in the back of the book. I'm like, where's the bio?
There's a pictograph of Verici, like in a black and white photo with a little bit of a biography.
Can I do a perception of the book?
You don't need to. You just you look at the inside cover of the front of the front inside cover of the book, and all you see is Z plus E.
At the party and says, who's Z and who's E? Oh, well, E is the... Wait, she flips back to the first page. The cleric's name is Etrus. Who is Z? That's we need to find. Anyways, she goes back to
I
flipping
don't
through
like the letter
pages.
Z. I don't like the letter Z.
I mean, it's the last letter of the alphabet, so I can understand why you would be so distrustful, Scumbria.
Yeah, Lucius knows a lot about going.
Thanks for
I
understanding.
don't know, I
At
don't know
least
what
we
that
have
means.
something to agree with.
Since when did I say I was agreeing with you? Z is a very common letter.
Emmeline's still skimming, like muttering, like paraphrasing as she's learning. The Z person. Can we not call him the Z person? Can we give him a fake name?
Zed.
Ed it is. Ed putting Etrus in these illusions, and they keep playing out fantasies, it seems like. Stories, they're building stories. So began to write out the stories and sell them as novels. And then she reads another entry. Got rich off novels. She's like, eyes are wide now. Bought a house. Etrus and Zed live together in the house.
Oh shit. Hold on. Ned just made a connection that I don't think Lucius has yet. Fuck. God damn it.
Let's say it.
Hold on, I'm gonna
Oh,
do a
no,
morality.
that's-
I'm gonna do a morality check.
Emmeline's just keep.
I
You're
hate-
gonna do that. Emily's just keep going.
Okay, wait, hold on. So Zed and Etrus had to have been a thing if it says Z plus E in the back of the book.
Emmeline puts her face in her palm because she made that connection immediately. And she just gently pats you on the top of the head.
No,
And she's like,
wait.
very good. Very
Emmeline,
good.
stop patronizing me. I'm going somewhere with this.
Very good.
Skip
Goes
a
back
couple.
to reading.
Skip some more passages.
Oh.
Is Etrus dead in the journal?
Ed taught Etrus how to fight. He's convincing Etrus to go on an actual adventure right now. Go back to reading.
The suspense is killing me, woman.
I know. She's like reading. Okay, here we go. Day 409. Last entry. She looks back at you 3. Last entry. She reads this one out loud. We just got back from our first adventure. We cleared out a Solomir wine cellar. Rockworm infestation. Personally, pest control isn't my worthwhile. Estrus seems happy. I dare not ruin this for her. Sigh. We got to liberate a village of some local bandits and help them install their own militia. So I guess in the end, we both got what we wanted. She keeps looking for more, but the next several pages are definitely torn out.
I think this Zed character is the necromancer that's trying to bring back Etrus.
I agree with this theory.
Okay, the
throws
fact
her
that you
bow.
agree with me, I automatically disprove my own theory. I think it's bullshit.
Emily
Shut
definitely
the
steps
fuck
in between
up.
the two of you now. Etrus, Etrus is not dead in the journal. She goes, but maybe someone inside the tavern knows a claim Etrus. And like, glances back at the tavern, like, you guys want to come look for Etrus.
Well, should we go back to the tavern? Because that random group of adventurers we talked to last night said that the Dreamer is hanging out at a house like at the edge of Smuggler's Cove. So are we going to check that out? Or are we going to wait until nightfall where it's all spooky and shit?
Ooh, suspense. I love it. Let's do nighttime.
Emmeline's like, it makes a better bard song. Nighttime.
Lucius face palms, but he's still wearing his mask, so he's just like covering the visors of his mask and goes, anything makes a better story, Emmeline.
We are an idiot party. I love it. Cool.
All right, so we go back inside. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
All
God
right.
I'm wearing a mask. Yes.
And what all do you want to do? Actually, let me do a luck roll real quick.
I'm staying behind. I'm the freaking back of the line, yo.
Scumber, if you come back to the bar, I'll buy you a rum.
Let's do it.
It's so easy to convince you. I don't even think Summer's role-playing.
Wow. Wow.
Lindy, give me a savvy check.
Avi is intelligence?
Intelligence, wisdom. So whichever one you have advantage in.
3. They're both zeros.
Okay. 3. So as we turn and walk back inside the tavern, those torn pages from before fall out of Emmeline's pocket, but she doesn't notice. Fortunately, Idrynne does, picks them up, hands them back to Emmeline, and she says, just casually, these fell out of your pocket.
Emmeline takes some and
Am I the only person that... Does anyone remember the old meme of why can't I hold all these limes? But it's Emmeline. Why can't I hold all these notebooks?
yeah, she's like, whoa.
Oh, well, Idrynne's holding a textbook. But Emmeline, as Idrynne hands these pages back to you, you notice the edges of all the pages are frayed as if one had torn them from something else.
Ooh,
A book,
spooky.
perhaps.
Definitely goes to get a rum. And then she wants to sit down with her
Oh
rum
yeah,
in the corner.
Lucius is buying all 4 of us a round of rum. So how much will that cost him?
5 silver total.
All right, taking that out of my inventory. Also, don't forget that you guys have magical items that I made you, so you can use those at any point.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Oh, I know. I know.
I forgot to mention this last time we were role playing, but like when you failed at cartwheeling through the door, I'm like, oh, that would have been a great time for you to use your silver thread, but I don't think you ever did.
Wait, where? I don't use my silver. What?
Inventory, I think.
It's
think we
in
have
Island
one.
Land General is where I reposted them, so they're easier to find.
Did we pin that?
Yeah, I gotcha.
I don't have mod powers, so Idrynne's gonna have to pin them.
It's pinned. I should start using that more often.
We also should get inventory at some point for each of our characters. Like I'm assuming at some point you know what I mean?
No, we have that character inventory. That's what I'm editing right now.
Wait, are they? Oh, duh, we do have that.
How much did the rums cost? I'm sorry, Idrynne.
The rums was 5 silver total.
Okay, so 95 silver. All right.
Okay, pen. Ha 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 ha.
Emmeline is going to order or grab the rum from Lucius. She is going to sit in the corner, lay out all these papers, like unfold them, smack them down on the table. She's going to read them. They're in a way where they're kind of open. Like if anybody else wanted to walk by and look at them, you guys could, like the people at my table could. Kind of open for all of us.
Okay, so now everyone can look at, what did I name that document?
Do you have it in VC text or do you have it in Island RP?
It's in VC text, so
Okay.
Everyone can look at
Verici's notes.
Everyone can look at Verici's notes. Everyone can also look at everything else here. So the torn notebook pages and the cryptic diagram.
I just realized
Then
that.
I'm gonna DM you some information that you can also read off of the textbook that Idrynne is also adding to the pile of stuff.
I just realized I forgot about my amulet.
Well, that's why I wanted to
How
remind
could-
you guys.
That would have came in handy like a long time ago. It's a sense of motives and other creatures. Bro, I'm slacking. I'm like, oh, yeah, should use that more often. Whoops.
Oh, Emmeline kind of is starting to make connections. The last entry date 2177. This person's old. The name Etrus appears, which matches perfectly with the journal Emmeline was just reading. She goes, this is a continuation. This is the same book. Oh, she looks back up at Lucius. You were right. Etrus died at some point, and Zed is trying to bring back Etrus. I think I know whose house that is on the edge of the town.
All right.
Lucius, once again, is very full of himself and just says, of course I was right. I'm always right.
Emmeline doesn't like this, and she takes his beer, accidentally but totally on purpose, spills it on him.
Lucius just looks down at his shirt and looks back at Emmeline. Rude.
Didn't say anything.
Spicy.
No.
I chugged the rest of my ale. You deserve
Lucius
that.
is just going to smell like beer for the rest of the day, I guess.
Shannon.
That's normal for us.
I like our party. Emmeline does a little I know I don't have bardic speech or anything, but she looks at you guys really inspired and she's just like, this is my crew. She gets choked up for a second.
Oh, Idrynne's looking super focused, staring laser beams into the table. She's in
Please
full
don't burn the
scholar mode.
table. Please don't burn the table. She's starting to shake her. Please don't burn the table.
As Scumbria is currently shaking Idrynne, Lucius kind of he stands up and does the whole Charlie Day looking at the fucking board of Pepe Silva, and he goes, all right, so we have a lot of information in front of us and it's very scattered and we just need to connect everything. Is the dreamer Idrynne? Because I'm sensing a lot of connection between this ghost story that is killing stories and this journal of a cleric, which I don't trust clerics because they use magic, but I'm starting to get a sense that these are connected.
He fucked up. I think he did fucked up. He brought this bitch back from the dead and not in the right way. We might have a walking zombie, guys.
I think Etrus is...
Lucius looks and points at himself.
Idrynne mutters to herself. She says, I don't think it's that simple. She points to the last entry in the journal, day 20, not the last, one of the last, day 2132, and she turns to Lucius and says, does Nocturne and the Kalishtar ring any bells?
Yes. Nocturne is another name, like a very fancy poetic name for the domain of dreams. The
Sounds hot.
Kalishtar are these whimsical, jester-like creatures that reside in Nocturne.
Emmeline raises a hand.
Yes, Emmeline.
That's Nocturne.
Idrynne flips a couple of pages from the magic textbook, starts skimming it, and says, Nocturne is quite literally another realm, another dimension, if you will. But according to this, we connect to it when we dream. And the Kalishtar we literally dream the Kalishtar.
The native creatures of Nocturne.
And we literally dream them into existence.
Okay, Emmeline's not down for this. This is making her skin prickle. Ooh, okay. Nocturne is a new
I
realm.
live
She's
for
how
this.
Thinking all this over. You can dream magical beings into existence? Did I get that right?
Yes. Although, so consider any dream you've ever had. For intents and purposes, let's think of a good dream that you've had. The people in that dream are Kalistars, and you just connected to Nocturne in your sleep. They and the Kalistar, as Lucius had said, are a very whimsical people because, it's their appearance reflects their belief on the theatricality of dreams, and that it's all just a performance that simply finishes at the end of every day when the person wakes up. Although only for us, the story ends, theirs continues in Nocturne.
Well, this is cool and it's a bard song. I don't know if I want to go there.
One thing Lucius wants to do is, he sees that Emmeline is very anxious and, the concept of another realm, he sees, the goose skin on her arm, so he's going to attempt to comfort her.
Oh, she just spilled beer all over you. That's really sweet. Goddamn.
If no one wants to go, I'll do it.
Emmeline takes a big breath in and she lets it out. She's like, if one of you go, I have to go too. We're all doing this or no one's doing this.
I don't exactly know how Lucius is comforting Emmeline. I assume kind of just rubbing the tall of your back, just being like, it's all right.
Oh, okay. He calms down.
I don't know if you've ever had to comfort someone during a panic attack, but that's pretty much what he's doing to Emmeline.
Idrynne points at the diagram and addresses the rest of the party. Does anyone make anything of this?
I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. I think that Zed, as we've been calling him, has attempted to resurrect his, love interest, cleric lady.
What's the arrows? Emmeline is not interested in the words. She's looking at the stick people on top. There's a person with a beard. There's a little teddy bear, a stick person.
Idrynne looks at the diagram. I think she points at the diagram on the left, at the dude with the beard.
That's a beard?
Well, it's not really. It's really like a.
Lucius, what did
It was
you think
supposed to be a. It was supposed to be a jester's collar.
Yeah, I thought it was a jester's collar. That's why there's little antenna things. I thought that those were with the little bells on the end of them.
It looks like a beard. Oh my god, it is a jester. I see a teddy bear in the other one too. Emmeline does.
That is absolutely a teddy bear.
I was about to say something, but I was going to say, Emmeline, you grew up in court. You should know what a jester looks like, but Lucius doesn't know that.
Oh, I guess he wouldn't. That's interesting. Whew.
So she's looking at the diagram and goes, I think she looks at the diagram and she's looking back and forth between that and the journal entry that mentions it. And Idrynne staring at the table for a hot minute, and then she suddenly blinks and looks at the party in turn, and she says, you lose someone you love, you dream of them, don't you?
Oh.
Lucius stares directly into Idrynne's eyes and very harshly just says, no.
Oh my god. Emmeline is changing now. Now she's gonna comfort Lucius. Now she's rubbing his back.
You know, if that's true, that means he that shall not be named. I swear I will kill him. Would be there then, technically? My former lover, in a sense?
Oh.
Since
Yes.
Can you stop talking in fucking cryptograms? I don't know who the fuck you're talking.
that's good. Good news for you. We don't speak about that. No.
And Idrynne turns to Lucius, healed enough to be unfazed by the comment, says to Lucius, the veil between us and the Kalistar go both ways, doesn't it?
Lucius thinks about it for a second, and he thinks about his knowledge of the Kalishtar. He, does the abrupt, the stand up from the table very quickly, and he goes, I don't know. And you know what? I don't care. And he plays with the blue jay feather on Emmeline's braid and walks away.
Idrynne goes, right. She looks back down at the textbook and flips a couple of pages.
We're fucked.
Love that
If that's the
possibility.
case, we're fucked.
Without making eye contact, or without breaking eye contact with the book, she tilts her head in Emmeline's direction and goes, What's Verici's last name again?
Ooh. I didn't think
I'll DM it to you if you don't remember.
I didn't write it.
I have it written down. It's Verici Demency.
Wow. Thank
Demin.
you.
Thank you. Demency. She flips a couple of pages and then her eyes grow wide again. And then she sits down and looks at the crew in turn like this and says, okay, so how do I translate this into not scholar speak?
So we're fucked.
So let's say you were aware that a greater power created you, and you knew this, and there was some way for you to meet said creator, because you think they're just a great person. Because why wouldn't they? They made you. Well, the Kalishtar have such an ability. They can cross over from the dream realm, in a sense, into our realm, usually in the form of, she flips a couple of pages on the textbook, usually in the form of possessed stuffed animals called mimsies.
What?
Freaking little gremlins. Ooh.
Surely just a coincidence.
Ho, just a coinky dink? I think not. We're fucked. We're all dead, dude. We're dead.
Game
I need a
over,
beer.
man. Game over.
I need to go get an ale. Scum puts her hands up, looks back at them. I'm ready to go whenever y'all are, but I need about 6 drinks before we go. Maybe a bottle for the road.
Emmeline goes and buys a bottle.
So
10 silver.
10 silver for a bottle. Okay.
It-
Worth it.
How
Scum,
many
you're worth
for
it.
how many for a beer?
5
Five
A beer
copper.
was 5 copper.
So I'm going to give you 25 copper, and I'm going to give you 10 silver. Hold on.
While this is happening and Scum is buying a buttload of booze, Lucius, when he made his dramatic exit out of the tavern, he actually is heading directly for that house on the edge of town. He's going to go investigate it without the
Oh, this
Oh,
party.
motherfucker.
jeez.
This little bitch. All right. So I hey. Does anybody else need some? It's on me. Does anybody else need liquor before we fucking go?
Emmeline raises
All right.
her
I need a
hand.
bottle.
So
What about you?
Idrynne is standing at the door with a very impatient look on her face.
Please tell me she's tapping her
raised.
foot like a fucking teacher.
She is, and she's also raising her hand because yes, she wants a bottle, but she's also very much aware that Lucius is just getting further and further away.
Okay.
And she can't-
Okay, hold on. Hurry up. Give me 2 more bottles. Here's 20 more silver. Do I have to give you extra cash for these cups? Because I'm taking these cups with me.
They're novelty Red Fair cups that you're taking from the tavern.
They're full of alcohol.
The barkeep just looking at this pile of coin on his bar, and he just has a look on his face where do I even begin?
Okay, so come here. Here's your bottle. You need your bottle. She gives him her bottle.
He takes the
and
bottle
she
and
gives-
looks down at it and looks back at the pile.
and then she hands over She hands her over 2 beers, and then she takes 3 with her and the 2 bottles because she has to give Idrynne hers. That has to be a thing. So I'm going, man. With all this booze, I'm giving Idrynne her beer, her ale, and her bottle. Okay, everybody has their booze to the house.
To the house. To the house.
To the
You're
house.
double
Barkeep
fisting.
just watched that whole thing go down, and he looks at the bottle, which he's still holding, and just this pile of coin, and he's not even going to bother counting it, so he just drinks it straight. All right. So after
So I've kind of got a head start on the rest of the crew. So how close do I get to the haunted house before everyone else comes up behind me?
Give me a perception check real quick.
Ooh, 19.
Damn. All right. With a 19, you smell it before you see it. But you smell the stench of blood and rotting corpses, and you see off to the side of the road 4 dead bodies. Blood is strewn across the ground, and the earth is equally
These are
mangled.
just out here in the fucking open? Like, there's just straight up dead bodies on the road?
They're like on the side of the road, yeah.
Okay, well, as an alchemist, Lucius immediately runs over and he's like, can these people be helped? Like, he starts just panicking and checking the bodies.
Give me a sec while I scroll to this spot. All right.
This got a lot more intense than I thought it was gonna be. Holy shit.
All right, so during all of this, the party or the girls are still catching up. Lucius, one guy is leaning up against a rock, and he's clutching his side, and
Is
he
he
coughs, and
conscious?
he is conscious. He coughs and waves weakly at you as if trying to get your attention.
Lucius immediately just kind of goes into doctor mode. He reaches into his bandolier, pulls out a healing potion, and says, "Drink this," and he starts tending to the wound. Because I assume he's holding a bleeding gash somewhere.
Mm-hmm. He has 3 gashes, similar lacerations on his arms and legs. He's in pretty bad shape. So he drinks the potion and coughs a little bit, and he says, "We're heading over the next town. Stop to rest a moment. Next thing I know, something spooked the horses. Battle was over before it began." He coughs and gestures over to one of his party members who had with a uncharacteristically small frame and says, "Brutus there was the first to fall. Didn't even see the beast coming. Got to me shortly after." And he gestures to just all of him. With his one weak hand, he grabs Lucius by the collar and pulls him close, and he goes, "It's it's the dreamer. I'm sure of it. Our hunt, our story, it killed the ending. There's no..." He coughs into his gauntlet, and it's stained with blood. He says, "Please, stop them." And he breathes his last. And I guess at this point, the rest of the party catches up.
Can I poke him with a stick?
As soon as the adventurer breathes his last breath, Lucius is just kind of holding this adventurer as he just died out in Lucius's arms, and he's just having a panic attack.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, shit. Are we there at that point of him freaking out?
Here. We're here. And
Okay.
Yeah. We walk in, and
Okay.
Lucius is freaking out over this dead corpse.
And what's this guy wearing?
Just generic adventurer's armor. The dude that Lucius was tending to had leather armor. The short guy that he addressed was wearing plate. The other 2 have something similar.
So while he's holding on to this body, can I check his pockets to see if he has anything in there?
Well,
You're checking specifically the body that Lucius is holding.
As
Yes.
soon as the rest of the party shows up, Lucius is just distraught. And he goes, help them, somebody for the love of God, help them.
Oh God, okay, Jesus. Okay, so Scum, you decide to loot the corpse that is in Lucius's arm.
As he's having a panic attack and begging you to save his life after he's died. You're just
I will after I loot his body. I will check his body after I loot it. Okay, it's part of the process. Just trust.
You're
the process.
medic.
Let me loot the body first. And then I will examine after. Cheese priorities, people.
What are you, the American healthcare system? You're gonna rob them blind before you heal them?
He's already dead.
I am a pirate after all.
I mean,
Makes
yes,
sense.
we're all pirates.
Emily's writing notes in her lyric note.
Yeah, Scum, you find 8 gold pieces.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes. Okay, after I collect the coins, can I take his body and examine it to see what caused him to die? Am I allowed to do that?
Yes.
Should I roll for that?
If you're attempting to look at the body that Lucius is currently holding, he's catatonic, so he's got a death grip on this dude in his arms.
Look, guy, okay, we just met, but I need you to let go of this body.
Heal him. For the love of God, heal him. He was right
I
here.
don't- Can you let go so I can check a pulse? Can you move over so I can at least check a pulse? She kind of grabs the dude's arm.
I want you to
check
actually
for
go
a
ahead and
pulse.
give me a charm check against Lucius, because he's
Oh,
having
Jesus.
an episode.
Oh, that's a disadvantage. Oh, fuck me. Okay. Oh, no. Oh, no. Where's my dice? Okay. Oh, no. Oh, wait. No. Oh.
Since this is an intense emotional moment for Lucius, I let you, well, provided you didn't, I was going to say I'm going to let you roll with advantage.
Well, I got a 19.
Good for you.
I got a 10, so I assume that beats me. So, as you're convincing Lucius, his hands have a death grip on this corpse, but he finally laxes and he starts coming back to his normal self, but he's still very panicked.
Can I slap him in the face really quick?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
She grabs him by the collar and she slaps him back and forth, and tells him, pull your fucking shit together. She pushes him to the side.
Please tell me
grabs
the
the
mask
body.
moved each time you slapped him.
And then,
wants to break them up, but she's also it looks like they're bonding really well right now.
She pushes him to the side.
Stressed at the spectacle and also trying to figure out what's going on.
So
Lucius gives up the corpse to Scumbria.
Cool. Because I already pushed you out of the way, bro.
Yeah, I'm aware.
I check for a pulse. Is he
Alright.
okay?
No, he's
no
dead
at
pulse.
this point, right?
He's dead as fuck.
dead.
Okay, he is dead.
Mhm.
I look at you and I'm like, bro. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no, you're good. I didn't know that was it. What y'all want to do?
This is something
dude,
this hasn't come up in roleplay as much, but it's going to be in my book that I'm currently writing. But Lucius, one of his triggers is definitely people dying in his arms. So that's why he's out right there.
Dear God.
So
Emily's gonna do
I
the street. She wants to see if there's guards, whatever the equivalent is of a police force. What's going on the street around them right now?
Go ahead and roll.
That's a 2.
Okay.
Thanks, Lindy.
Okay,
Thanks for that
so-
too.
You notice that there are claw marks on the ground as if someone got a rake and dragged it across the dirt, but for 3 of them. There's a couple of gashes like that around the scene. You however notice that there are no other external signs, if that makes sense. There's no other smells, no other loose feathers, just all the blood seems to belong to the bodies, though you can't tell that for sure. But yeah, that's what you notice.
Just kind of gently nudge whoever's standing next to me. I don't know who's standing next to me. Gently nudge someone and I just kind of point at the claw mark.
I was gonna see if he was clawed up in the back. How bad is this guy bleeding? Is he even bleeding at all?
He's pretty fucked up. Yeah. He's still breathing pretty fresh because he was the last to die. He has 3 gashes across his chest, and then a chunk taken out of his shoulder, and he's bleeding profusely from that. There's a similar pattern on one of his legs, from which he's also bleeding from, and just a cursory glance around at the other corpses. you see similar injuries just from where you're standing or sitting.
Can I check out one of the wounds to see if like this creature has left like a mark or like something behind, like claw or like a tooth of some sort, or like
Actually,
something
as-
that
as Scumbria is making that check, can I do the help action? Because like Scumbria pushed Lucius away from the corpse, so I assume as she's looking around, then Lucius would kind of help out with that.
Go for it.
Summer, you have advantage.
17.
Cool. And Ned, what's your role?
I didn't roll. I was
Oh.
providing the help action to Scumbria.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Did you want me to roll?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, fuck my butt. That's a 7.
Let's help, dude.
Okay.
I could definitely tell you're not the medic.
Okay. So,
Rude.
Scum, you don't see any traces of animal. So like no traces of fur, no feather, bits of claw, or like saliva, what have you. Nothing of the sort. So your assumption is that they were pierced by like something man-made, like made of steel, or just something sharp in general. Lucius, however, with a 7, notices the spacing and the consistencies of like length and pattern and just the kind of laceration left on the wound. And despite the lack of other supporting evidence, Lucius is convinced that this was a griffin attack. However, with a 7, he doesn't do a great job at convincing Scum of that. Not that he would with a nat 20, I don't think.
Listen, this was a griffin attack. If you look at the talon marks, this was definitely left by a griffin.
Look, idiot. Look how deep these wounds are and how far apart they are. Okay, that is man-made.
I used to hang out with the Hammerfall Guild of Dwarves. Okay, they breed griffins. I know a griffin attack when I see one.
As she's covered in blood, she forgets that her gloves are covered in blood at this point. And she face palms her mask, and she realized that there's some blood on her lenses, and she's just like, it's gonna be one of those days. What now, guys?
Emmeline, how are you doing?
She's just watching. She doesn't know much about medics or monsters of this realm right now. Watching.
Alright, so we have a freshly dead and looted corpse, and then 3
Fuck yeah, bud.
unlooked at and unlooted corpses.
Can I loot those?
You absolutely can.
Should I roll or no? Do you want me to roll?
Are you looting all 3 of them?
Fuck yeah, I am.
Okay, so in one body you find 7 gold pieces.
Fuck yeah.
On another you find 2, and on the last you find 11.
What? See, I'm telling you guys, you gotta loot bodies. Skyrim teaches you everything.
Price coming from a medic or you as my friend?
Both.
Whoa. Doctor's orders, loot bodies. Got it. Okay, but now Emmeline's gonna do just like a general check, looking at the other bodies, even though she doesn't know a lot about monsters and things. She just want to see if anything is weird or out of place on the face.
Yeah, go ahead and roll.
8.
8. Looking at the corpse that Lucius held, then just comparing that to the other corpses, you don't really see anything really that jumps out at you. Everyone's really kind of mangled the same way.
Lucius is still catatonic, by the way.
Oh, don't do it, Emmeline. God damn it. Emmeline's gonna lean over to Lucius and whisper like, you like lying under piles of dead bodies. Do you want to lay under these guys?
No, because the last time you put me under a pile of dead bodies, that was against my consent.
Sorry about that, Lucius. You know, I always wanted to apologize. I guess now's the time. Sorry we had to throw you under the dead bodies to will you out of that prison. There was a better way.
It wasn't a prison. It was a sanitarium.
You were
You
chained
guys-
to a wall.
Okay, this is Ned laughing, not Lucius.
Just always standing here with these dead bodies. I just need to look you in the eyes, Lucius. I'm sorry for the way we got you out of there. Anyways, she looks back at all the bodies. We do. Guys, should we just leave them? Like, the guards haven't come yet. If we just roll, nobody will associate us with all these murders. What do you think? Should we go?
Okay, we
I'm
need
covered
to
in
kill.
blood, so probably.
We need to kill this dreamer. This spirit that is murdering stories is clearly murdering adventurers as well.
There was one entry in the journal that said these books, Zed's books, were lucrative enough for him to buy a house. She goes, apparently there's a house. Remember the house? Who was it? The tavern keeper told us? Barkeep?
It was a
No,
random
Greentree
band of
told us about the
adventurers.
house.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, he did. And then some adventurers told Lucius about some other house on the outskirts of Smuggler's Cove. So they may or may not be the same house.
Look, Emmeline looks at both of you. She goes, I have a knife that I've never used before. It's really, really sharp. I'm going to slide it in my boot, and then I'm ready to go to that house. Who's coming with?
I'm game. Let's go.
Of course. Whew.
Lucius looks at Emmeline and goes, I don't trust magic. You know this, but I trust you. So if we're going to this house, I'm following you.
That's terrifying to me. Let's go. She jumps along.
I grab my fancy stick, I flick my finger, and my stick is on fire now. And I'm
Go.
using it
Oh,
as
cool.
light.
Go.
Nice. Well, since we're all weaponing up, I guess, Idrynne simply says nothing but looks at, or she smiles at Scumbria's fancy stick because she's still very, very curious about it. And then this really cool like suit of armor just appears over her, but it's in her arcane style. It's in the signature like purple and all that jazz. And she just looks at everyone and goes, "Shall we?"
Yes.
Yes.
We are traveling, and I am opening the floor to just banter between characters.
You guys ready for this shit? I know I am. Took a shot out of my bottle with my
Yeah, we do
staff
have-
in the other hand.
I want to
Idrynne
go.
takes a drink from her bottle and goes, "Well, Headmaster there does have a point. Magic is unpredictable." She glances at Emmeline and says, "Sorry," because she knows that does nothing to ease her fears about.
As we're walking to the house, Emmeline looks at you guys and she whispers, I didn't know how hard it was to walk with a knife in your boot.
Idrynne glances over her shoulders. They make cold.
So, how about that weather?
Lucius is gonna be like protector. Like he says, everybody stay back. I'm going to investigate the cottage. And he walks
I'm the
in.
one with the fancy stick.
I'm getting behind the fire.
The party approaches the house. As the party approaches the house, the magical presence that Idrynne sensed earlier is strong enough to make everyone's hair stand on end.
Oh yeah, I'm lighting I'm lighting my pipe for this one.
All right, and you said you walk up to the door, right, Ned? You walked up to the door, right?
No, I'm walking through the door.
Okay, so yeah, it is unlocked. And as you open the door, you hear voices arguing. So you hear voices arguing, and then the sound of a blade piercing flesh, and then a thud, and then a whoosh, and then different voices arguing.
Okay, so there's a blade piercing flesh, there's a whoosh, and there's more people talking. So I have the collective knowledge of somebody being murdered in this vision.
Mhm.
Okay, that's what Lucius knows.
I mean, Emmeline's going to go inside.
All right. I'm guessing you follow Summer.
Yep.
No,
Okay,
Yep.
so as the party enters the house in its entirety, you guys round a corner and you see a withered old man sitting in a chair. Face is practically buried by a really thick beard and really long wavy hair. Think like Gandalf level age, but Hagrid levels of just hair. So his gaze is fixed on this scene before him, and though we cannot clearly see his face, it's clear to see that it's not a happy one. Here's these two brothers, and they're in a heated argument because apparently one had slept with the other's wife. One stabs the other, and just as the murderer falls to his knees in grief, the scene dissolves into smoke and reform into a well-dressed man crying over a white-clad woman laying prone on the ground, and her dress is stained scarlet. The scene changes again, and a family is holding each other now as they cower in the corner while their village burns outside. Suddenly, as if by magic, outside the window, you see and hear the flickerings of torchlight and the clanging of swords against steel, as well as the smell of just burning wood and burning flesh wafting through the windows. Tears are streaming down this family's face as they attempt to savor their final moments together, as the door that we just walked into is kicked aside and raiders pour into the entrance. But before they could come into striking distance with anyone in the house, they dissolve into smoke yet again. But before as they watch the smoke swirl and start to take another form, a familiar voice sounds from behind the party. And a figure steps out from the corner, from the shadows, and none other but Varichi de Mimsy eyes the party and says casually, "Adventurers, meet Zedicus of Aurea." But Idrynne interrupts him and says, "Master of Illusion Magic," she says, squinting at him. And she says, "That's impossible. I read he died when he rested in a dragon's cave while in a rescue town." And to everyone's surprise, Varichi just smiles and says, "And why do you suppose that is?" And after a moment, Varichi speaks again and says, "Here's what really happened after their first adventure." And he gestures towards Zed, which is really cool that y'all did that as his nickname, because that is his canon nickname.
Oh yeah.
But she gestures towards Zed, who is, i.e., the weathered old man sitting in the chair, who is now staring teary-eyed at the scene that had just finished forming. It is a wizard wearing the same robes as the seated figure, if not in better shape. He looks like Henry Cavill. There we go. And he's kneeling on the ground with the body of a woman in her arms, and there's an arrow protruding from her chest, and his face is turned upward, contorted in grief. And as the party watches, Varichi crosses the room to stand beside the old man on the rocking chair, and he locks eyes with Idrynne and says, "And we both know what happens when you mix magic with emotion," to which she just glares. And Varichi chuckles before addressing the rest of the party and says, "I will admit, none of this would have been possible without all of your... I was running out of time, and you all had bought me plenty."